Hi guys and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you see and want to see more. Coming up, Rugby League veteran to retire. The mind games have begun for Saturday. Warriors 2022 plans. And Toronto warm up for their game against DC Cavalry. So according to reports, the New Zealand Warriors are set to announce the club will spend all of 2022 season based in Australia. Sources inside the NRL have revealed to reporters that clubs plan to base themselves in Redcliffe, North Brisbane for the entire of the season, and has been approved by the organisation's CEO Andrew Abdo and the Australian Rugby League Commission. Reports understand it will confirm on Thursday at a media conference that because of the unsettled border situation between New Zealand and Australia, the club will play a number of their home games in Brisbane. However, once there is more certainty about the border later in the year, the team will look to hit and run missions to play games at Mount Smart Stadium, arriving a couple of days before the game and returning to Australia straight after. Doing this, it seems to reduce the risk of Warriors being stuck in New Zealand if there is a sudden pause to the Tasman travel bubble once it is up and running again. It also means that if players are in Australia when a pause happens, they are not cut off from their families. That was the situation in 2020, and the Warriors CEO Cameron George afterwards vowed that he would do everything he could to stop that happening again, but it could be that the team play half of next year's home games at Mount Smart Stadium. None of the Warrior players and staff have been able to return to Australia since their last game of the season on Sunday, and none of them know if they'll be back in time for Christmas. The Warriors intend to take the short trip to Auckland for their round 22 game against the Bulldogs in August, but the current outbreak in Australia, which saw the NRL relocate to Queensland, resulted in those plans being scrapped. And one of the bad things about it is that they've lost one of their star players, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, because of all these moves to rugby union, as is now with Auckland Rugby, Blues. It's had that knock-on effect, and I do feel for the New Zealand players that have families over in New Zealand. They can't get home. It's a sad state of affairs, and I wish that it didn't happen. And I think that might be the purpose for why Sean Johnson signed, because he thought he was closer to home, and his home, and he can see his family more. But if they're having to play half a season there, it might be some time before he gets back. The story goes on. Over the current campaign, the Warriors spent time based in Kaima, Tamworth, Terrigal and Gold Coast, which meant numerous disruptions for players' families, especially when partners and children had to quarantine for 2 weeks in Queensland while the players went into their own goal. The Warriors last played a game in New Zealand in August 2019 for an NRL game, meaning it's been 3 years. It will be 3 years. The club has been away from their Auckland base. Despite this, the Warriors remain committed to their New Zealand roots and developing players in the country, even though they haven't been able to field age grade teams in Australia's competition because of the booking situation. That's reserve grade and the academy side, what we call it over here, sides. It's just what happens, unfortunately. All of Australia's NRL have been having that issue, and the UK's return to academy and reserve grade will only happen in 2022. So we'll have to see how long this lasts, and I do hope New Zealand Warriors are able to get back to playing rugby league in their own country. Okay, so some more information coming out for the Canada Cup game, or what would have been the Canada Cup game. That's taking place at Lamport Stadium on the that says the 4th, just be a second. There we go, the 18th of September, where they face the DC Cavalry and one of their former players, Ryan Burrows. When it comes to this Rugby League NRL seasons and warm-ups this year, is one of the highlight games. And got a little bit of information from the Toronto side, as head coach Matt Wiles, along with his assistants Robin Legault, Henry Myers, Steve Pitek and Akari Kidon, are pleased to announce their initial 20-man squad, along with a train-on squad for the inaugural North American Rugby League game against the DC Cavalry, their social media. Initially planning to announce a 25-man squad, the coaching staff decided to make an initial 20-man squad and to use the remaining practices and the roster spots to challenge players in the train-on squad to see who wants to rise to the occasion and grab one of the 5 remaining spots. In his own words, Wiles said, "The selection process has been tough, which is a credit to the players. It's difficult to view all players equally, and it's a tough vetting process to work through. With the practices, trial games, and tools we had, and the people we spoke to, we feel we've done the best possible job in selecting the strongest possible squad. The team is representative of the type of that we want." Now, these players you may not know or may never have heard of before, but they are going to show their skills in Rugby League for us, our entertainment in this on-off game. Hopefully a yearly game that's maybe coming up for them in the future, whether it's with a USARL team, California Rugby League team, someone else from Canada, just don't know. But the initial 20-man Toronto Wolfpack roster, the game against DC, and the train-on squads all look like. So there are some notable people in the roster, as players like Charles Curran, Skylar Dumas, and Jordan Henry were all involved in the latest squad of the Canadian Wolverines international side. So it's not too far apart from what sort of players they are looking for and who they know and things like that. But you get like winger Tony Felix being in the train-on squad, not quite making it. So there must be a couple of players that are a bit more stronger. As I hate to single out Tony Felix because I've never met the gentleman, I've never seen him play, but he's on the train-on squad. That's the only thing that I can come up with from this sort of result. Just don't get me wrong, he's still got an opportunity to get in, but yeah, there are some people that are in the train-on squad that see transition over. There may be some roster players that drop out, fortunately. But at this moment in time, we can see what players are involved, and the ones that I mentioned, Charles Curran, if these numbers are right on the list, it's a prop forward. Pascal Dumas is a second rower. So we'll see how this all comes about when the game kicks off. As you see, Saturday, September the 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know time. But that's around about 10 p.m. UK time, if I'm right in saying that, as that's what the Cleveland game kicked off at 10 p.m. or when they played Atlanta Rhinos at their current home base. So, see how things go as we get closer towards the day. 1 week away on. So there's some interesting comments out there from the Penrith Panthers in regards to their star player Nathan Cleary, which I'm only giggling at because I think it's more mind games than actual reasoning, because there has been so much contact on kickers after they kicked in the NRL that they've not been stopped from doing it. Anyway, so Penrith coach Ivan Cleary has implored match officials to protect his star halfback and son from potential of an illegal South Sydney ambush on Saturday night. The Panthers have been led to believe that the Rabbitohs, in an attempt to safeguard rookie fullback Blake Taaffe from Cleary's towering floating bombs, have been privately planning an assault on Penrith star back to nullify the threat of his kicking game. Lots of pictures have been shown in regards to contacts that has been made on Nathan Cleary. Late contact, the ball getting out, but blockers are not getting in the way properly. Anyway, it comes after the Panthers recently discovered that Rabbitohs officials made a series of complaints to the NRL after Penrith's emotionally charged victory against the Souths in round 23. The Rabbitohs asked the governing body for a please explain as to the way that Penrith used blockers to restrict the ability of South Sydney's markers from putting pressure on the Cleary's kicks. News reports in Australia have learned that the Rabbitohs coach Wayne Bennett, when coaching Queensland during the last year's State of Origin series, also raised a similar concern with the tactic in New South Wales to protect Cleary. The Rabbitohs identified Isaac Yeo was guilty of an illegal block that went unnoticed by the referees when the two teams squared off at Suncorp Stadium in a game which Cleary had ample time to put his trademark floating bombs, which led to several mistakes from Josh Manshaw and also Latrell Mitchell. Images from previous meetings between the two teams over the past 2 seasons show a number of instances over which the Panthers raised concern. Most alarmingly was a high shot on Cleary's New South Wales Blues teammate Cameron Murray after the kick last year. Ivan Cleary told reporters that his son is constantly targeted by defenders and believes more needs to be done to protect the playmaker. Nathan is targeted every match and often the contact is outside the current protection interpretation, said Cleary Senior. In fact, I don't think we have ever received a penalty for a late hit or unnecessary contact on him, which is extraordinary considering the amount of kicks he executes. So the picture there is a received shot of when Cameron Murray allegedly put a high shot on Nathan Cleary during a match last season. And under the NRL rules, blockers must be stationary or moving forward and not being able to change direction or backwards or sideways in stopping these such incidents. South Sydney are well aware of the threats that Cleary possesses with his kicking game, so they are and the danger of also giving him time to execute his wide array of kicks. It's why the Rabbitohs are making noise about what they deem to be illegal blockers around the ruck, changing direction to prohibit Sydney's markers from putting any pressure on Cleary. Cleary's kicking statistics are impressive, highlighting why South Sydney are hell-bent on applying the pressure. He has gone through the entire season without a ball being caught on the full in being goal. Cleary has also sits 4th when it comes to putting up attacking kicks that aren't diffused by the opposition. So he's a dangerous weapon that Penrith rely on, and Souths are making sure that the rules are followed so that they can get at these. They're there to win a game. Of course, they're going to make sure that they are in a chance to stop as many mistakes as possible by themselves, give them the best platform to win. I do think Panthers will get through this. On from us. Don't think win it. I think my outsider will. Yes, it's a literal. Maybe wrong, but they've got the strong. Let's say it now, or beginning of playoff season. That's so we have another career coming to an end, unfortunately, with former England international Ryan Atkins announcing his retirement from the game at the end of the 2020 season. Atkins started off his career at Bradford Bulls before making the move to Wakefield Trinity on loan back in 2006 before signing permanently for the West Yorkshire club at the end of that season. After 4 years with Trinity, Atkins made his move to top flight giant Warrington Wolves, who he helped win 2 Challenge Cup trophies, scoring at Wembley in their 2010 victory, as well as 2 League Leader Shields. 2019 saw Atkins being honoured with a testimonial after 10 years of service with Warrington, and towards the end of that season he rejoined Trinity and spent the 2020 campaign back at the Rocket Mobile Stadium before signing for York City Knights. And that's where he's been playing throughout this 2021 season, and made 18 competitive appearances for the Knights, scoring 8 tries, the last of which came in a defeat to Bradford Bulls, the team whose academy he began his professional journey with. Discussing his retirement, the 35-year-old Atkins acknowledged it was a tough decision to come to. I was contemplating going round again, but the time is right, he explained. I thought at the end of last year that this could be my swan song, having a really good gig at getting to the playoffs and getting promoted this year with York, but that just didn't happen. The further we got through the year, the more batterings my body has taken, and I just think it's the right time now. It's now time for me to transition away and into the real world. I've been doing that gradually now for the last 12 months in a recruitment role, and I'm absolutely loving it. But for rugby, my body just won't do what my mind and my brain wants it to do. I've always said that when it came to that point, that I would call it a day, and thankfully I've got to make that decision off my own back. It's not an injury or lack of options, it's down to my wife, my children and I having come to an agreement that it's time to spend more time as a family. Atkins has played over 400 games as a professional rugby league player at the time of this recording, exactly 401. He's played 393 first grade games total, as well as 8 international games, where at Warrington, where he made his biggest contribution, as he played 273 games in 10 years and also scored 168 tries. That gives him the record for the most tries at the centre for the club as well. So he's held in high regard at Warrington Wolves. This will be every time that he visits it. For the Yorkshireman, that'll be a good accolade. So that means he'll end his season at the York City Knights, hopefully with their playoff push coming ahead and helping them to be successful in that, possibly. But afterwards, he goes into his recruiting role, which has been developing over the last year, and hopefully successful at that. But Thank you very much for being rugby. Thank you for being part of the Rugby League family, and good luck in the future. Hope you have a happy time with your life. Now that you're bothering them, Simon. So this is an interesting 4-game series, isn't it? I know I picked. Did you see it? If you didn't, go back through the video. But in the meantime, I think that there are 4 contenders, really. 5 contenders that could win this. They've all got the individual playing ability, or the league nous. The finals now. Win this. We're on week 1. So, tell me who's going to win all of those 4s. And then, I'll tell you when we've won that you'll be. So, in the meantime, I'll say thank you for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, and share this video worldwide. Really mean that. When you've seen this video, press the share button. Or tag 3 people in it to watch the video. And then get them to tag 3 people in it. We can grow this channel. We can grow this sport. We seem to be doing it more than the actual leagues do. I'm looking forward to this final series. Yes, we've also had a retirement announcement, and Rhino, good luck to you. All the best in the future. Thank you for being part of Rugby League. But to everyone that's watched, all the best, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.